Hello everyone. Today I'm reviewing a public lecture I attended about Einstein's life between 1906 and 1910. This lecture was titled Beyond 1905, Einstein's Light, Love, and Lies. It was presented by Dr. Alberto Martinez from the University of Texas at Austin. His lecture focused on the struggles and breakthroughs of Einstein that shaped the development of his theory of relativity. This period was marked by a combination of failures, both personal and professional, but ultimately led to some of the most important concepts in modern physics. Before this lecture, I didn't know much about Einstein's struggles with early experiments that didn't directly support his ideas. For example, the lecture discussed how Einstein was constantly influenced by the results of various experiments, even if they didn't always align with his final theories. One critical moment was Fizeau's experiment, which showed how the speed of light changes when passing through moving water. The lecture emphasized that Fizeau's experiment deeply influenced Einstein, even though his early work didn't fully explain the results. This experiment caught my attention because it helped show how light behaves in different mediums, something I already knew from prior experience and learning. What I didn't realize was how central this experiment was to shaping Einstein's ideas. Max Laue later showed that Einstein's transformation equations for speed could explain the results of Fizeau's experiment, effectively confirming part of special relativity. One of the concepts that really sparked my curiosity was Einstein's obsession with clock synchronization. The lecture explained how we need synchronized clocks to measure the speed of light. But how do you synchronize clocks when the very method of doing so involves measuring the speed of light? It's a circular loop that Einstein tried to break with creative thought experiments, such as using a single beam of light to synchronize two clocks. This process is key to understanding the foundation of relativity. I found it fascinating because it highlights how our assumptions about time are deeply connected to the limits of measurement. Einstein didn't just change how we understand time and space, he showed us that our most basic ideas about how we measure things also need to be questioned. What was also new to me was how Einstein built on ideas from David Hume, who interestingly was a philosopher, not a physicist. As Einstein read Hume's works, he became convinced that what we think of as fundamental laws, like Newton's force equals mass times acceleration, are actually definitions based on assumptions. They're not discoveries. This shift in thinking allowed Einstein to break away from Newton's concept of absolute time and absolute space. Instead, he proclaimed Newton's interpretations to be one assumption that he made, and Einstein could assume something completely different. In his case, this assumption was that the speed of light was constant, independent of observer's motion. This led to that time could be different depending on the observer. The famous lightning example from Einstein's 1917 book was touched on in the lecture, where two observers see lightning strikes on either side of a moving train at different times. This example was Einstein's way of showing that simultaneity is relative, dependent on your position and speed. This is one of the thought experiments that led him to the core idea of special relativity, that the speed of light is constant, but time and space can stretch and shrink. Interestingly, the lecture also clarified some misconceptions about Einstein's inspiration. While many assume that the Michelson-Morley experiment influenced Einstein's development of special relativity, he actually downplayed its importance. He recalled that he had never even known of the experiment until after his first relativity papers. Instead, Fizeau's experiment, which you've already talked about, played a much larger foundational role in Einstein's thinking throughout his entire special relativity process. After attending this lecture, I decided to look further into the specific role of Fizeau's experiment played in the development of special relativity. I looked deeper into Alberto Martinez's claims that Einstein's theory of relativity didn't fully explain the results of Fizeau's experiment until it allows expansion of Einstein's transformation equations. This made me appreciate how scientific progress often relies on the collaboration and refinement of ideas over time rather than sudden individual breakthroughs. In conclusion, this lecture not only expanded my understanding of the theory of relativity, but also revealed how experimental data from different sources, like Fizeau's experiment, shaped Einstein's work. The way Einstein overcame his early failures and engaged with complex philosophical ideas to create a new framework for physics was inspiring. It reminded me of the importance of persistence and the collaboration that we have in the scientific community and scientific discovery. Thank you for watching my review.